Customers. Customers at the heart of everything that we've done for years in financial transactions. Customers from the traditional banker, customers from the high net worth customer, all the way to the much coveted millennials. In that satisfaction of all those customers, we've tried to find different ways for them to work with us, ways that were convenient to them as well as convenient to us. In the process of that, though, I think we've made some challenges along the way, both for the customer and for us. Traditionally, as we deploy a new channel, a new way to integrate with a customer, we build a new silo. The silos get larger and more walled off as you go higher in the chain. As the interactions increase, the size of those silos increase. So you wall off information, you wall off customer activity, you wall off pretty much the relationship with your client, hopefully migrate to the very end where you can aggregate it at some point. When we talk about this disparaging set of channels, they look like puzzle pieces broken apart. They really don't communicate together in any way, until you migrate to the very end of the solution, usually back at a core system or some other point of aggregation. So they sit out there disparaging pieces of data. They don't communicate together. Well, I'm happy to say I think we found a way around that. In 1995, Alogent led the way in handling how deposit transactions would occur. And I'm happy to announce today that we're doing it again. We're doing it again with a new product called Alogent Interactive Capture. Now, what does Alogent Interactive Capture do for you from the channel perspective? Well, you had to start somewhere at the new normal. In '95, when we led the way on teller capture, we had to make sure we started at that new normal. So you can do traditional image capture, where a customer walks in with physical checks, hands them over to the teller for it's part of the imaging solution. You take it a step further, though, and you now have self-service interaction. So self-service image capture takes place today with a machine in place of that physical person. We also can deal with that through Alogent Interactive Capture. If I can for a moment, though, I'm going to show you the solution. We'll walk through a little bit of what's running behind it. But I want to demonstrate to you some live software real quick. Could you cut to the surface, please? Thank you. The surface is to mimic a kiosk. Big trendy thing that we're all putting out there today in the self-service space. Customer's going to come up, interact with it. I've identified who I am. I've already said I've been authenticated, and I'm going to make the assumption that checks have been imaged already. So I'm going to execute my deposit. It's reading my images. I'm presented with a series of transactional data, and I'm looking at, there's my image check. But I've run into an issue. I need to seek assistance. Now what happens with that assistance button is the magic we're going to talk about in a minute. Can we cut to the second laptop, please? What you're seeing now is the full service version of Alogent Interactive Capture. There are two APIs that work together in the self-service and full service environment to make both areas communicate seamlessly. What our teller's doing now is he's resuming the transaction, the one that I just did right here wirelessly. This device could be anywhere. It could be a kiosk in that lobby. It could be somewhere states away. It could be in another country. But I'm picking up that live transaction. Now, as a teller, he could complete that transaction. He could send it back to me. He could do a multitude of things with it. But the real essence of it is that it's a living, breathing entity at this point. Can we switch to the first laptop, please? So why is AIC unique? It's associate-centric. It's not machine-centric. It's not tied to the proverbial boat anchor of a physical device. It can move around just like the customer can, just like the associate can. It's customer experience focused. They can work through all the multitude of channels and be able to utilize it. And allows freedom of choice for the customer and, most importantly, the banker. It is a device-agnostic environment, giving you choice. So what's a deferred transaction? Well, today a transaction moves along through doors. Doors that lock behind a transaction. You can go one way, but you can't come back. The transaction closes. It batches up and moves on, only to make its way further down the chain. The difference with Alogent Interactive Capture, though, is really magical in what's going to happen with that third door. The third door for us has been inserted as a swinging door. The transaction will pass through that third door, can be serviced, sent back to the customer. It's really up to you for your workflow that you want to do. It's not up to us as the service provider. It's a really powerful statement how you're going to communicate with your clients and get everything out there in the field to meet together in one unique space. So in assisted self-service capture, like you just saw today, a customer can arrive, use a kiosk. They can then say, I need assistance, or it might need another level of authentication, and it gets forwarded on to an associate, a full-service associate, sends it back the other way. You have a very unique perspective in how to handle a transaction that's never been done before. We went to the real core of what we do in financial services, and that's the transaction, the point of deposit acquisition. In the deferred model, which makes it special, is you can manage lobby traffic. You can queue up a busy Thursday, starting things on a machine, finishing them off, or picking up cash or a receipt. That's akin to the retail model that exists today that our banks are competing with out in malls, out in shopping centers. Assisted self-service kiosks like you saw today, you can untether a banker out into the field with a tablet. You can have that banker then take care of those people out there and bring them back to them, rather than having to wait till they come in for that face-to-face opportunity to cross-sell and work with them as a customer. So Alogent Interactive Capture. One thing that we've noted is that as we look at the branch of the future, it's really an evolutionary step. It's not revolutionary. It's not a switch you're going to flip and move towards it. As you implement these devices and channels, you have to make sure they're not walled off. So with us, we've built a single unified rules engine to manage these channels through. A unified customer experience for you, so that way you can take the choice as the banker to what you want to roll out to them. It's device agnostic, so that way you, again, don't have to make a choice based on a specific part of hardware. We've taken care of that for you further down the chain through a common set of APIs. IT environmental saves are there. That way you can maintain similar environments and less of them. And cross-channel fraud and compliance. A huge, huge hit for you because you can manage them all in one unique area, which is a massive cost savings to you. So with that said, I thank you for your time today. Please feel free to join us at the ProfitStars booth so you can hear more. Our entire staff is there to go over Alogent Interactive Capture with you, and we'll even demonstrate it for you. Thank you.